Spiritual stuff.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of
Woo! Episode
Spiritual Stuff. Spiritual Stuff. With your co-hosts, Reaya and
Chantsy.
welcome.
Hello, guys.
Hello. We were just having this little chat before because we were talking about, okay, well, what are we going to do today? Because we kind of just decided that each time we record, we're just going to show up and see what comes. And then we were talking about, like, Chantsy was like, Ray, do you want to talk about your tools and what you use? And I was like, no, I don't, no, not feeling that today. Not feeling that today. And then we were talking about, like, okay, maybe you should talk about your spiritual awakening. And then I was like, we talked about mine last week, but actually I avoided the question. But anyway, so let's go over to Chantsy. And do you want to tell us a little bit of how you got involved or how your spiritual journey came about?
Yeah. Because I am trying to really manifest right now, I don't want to go too deep into the deepest dark, but I do think this is part of my journey to talk through the awakening. So there was, it all happened basically 2017, 2018. And the spiritual awakening kicked off because not only of my ego that had been massive at the time because of the work that I was doing in the film and TV industry. I got burnt out from the work that I was doing because I was just engrossing myself in that work, and I was just climbing the ladder, and again my ego was massive, and then my relationship fell apart, and I was the main cause of that relationship falling apart at the time. And then that kind of led me into a beautiful spiritual journey of, I ended up in Brighton in the UK, where I started meditating after you'd kicked my butt, Reaya, and told me to meditate.
You're welcome.
And I was seeing a beautiful healer, Yana, from Loving Life, and that was, that was amazing, and I was really delving into the healing at the time, and I was getting my internal compass started kicking in basically, and I was driven to develop the production portal at that time. Big one because of my own bout of burnout, which I hadn't really realized at the time. I was receiving a whole heap of messages in the UK whilst I was there of people going through the same thing. It was like the same stories started to appear. And I had really been drawn to develop a business, and it was like the right people were falling into my life, if that makes sense at the time. It was kind of like your spiritual journey in a way, Reaya.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. As soon as you're ready for something, and I feel like as soon as you call that into your heart space, I feel like then the universe kind of starts orchestrating the people that you need on that journey.
Totally.
And they kind of just keep showing up until you kind of understand that they're knocking loud enough that you need to open the door.
100%. It's so funny as well, because it all started with the fact that your intuition really kicks in, yes, through meditation, but it's also through you actually following through your words with actions, because you're telling your body, hey, yeah, I'm listening and I'm actually doing what I'm saying that I will do, But I digress. But the journey of awakening has been so beautiful. I was actually, we were speaking off air, and I was writing a little note to myself about the journey on the train, because once I opened up to the awakening, like, I had this massive purification process that I went into, where I went into hermit mode. I walked every single day up a mountain in the Blue Mountains of New South Wales, and met some beautiful people on that walk. purified my life of places, people, and things, and they all kind of just fell away if they didn't align.
Yeah.
And I saw some really magical things, you know, that I can't even really explain, but you know, like I think it was a Scorpio lunar eclipse where I saw the moon and the sun in parallel, you know, with the bush, like whilst I was in the bush and walking along a bridge. You know, I saw you know, I used to walk at 5 a.m. in the morning, so it was dark, and I'd see like a whole heap of kookaburras at the beginning of my walk, and I was just like, this is magic, you know, this is magic. And
but
you
can
know,
I just say something? There's something very magical about the Blue Mountains, because we had our first retreat up there, held our first retreat up there, and I remember being at this lookout, and there was a full moon, and opposite was the sun, and it was
it's
just
amazing.
like I'd never seen it, and I was like, this is incredible. I felt like I was in the epicenter of the universe.
Yeah. Isn't it?
It's there's something very magical when you're in that alignment with those two powerful beings that you're like, my life's just about to change.
Yeah. 100%.
I don't know. That's what happened to me. Like something was like, I don't know, but that's what happens when I'm with sun, when I'm with light.
It's the epitome of this yin and the yang, you know, it exists, you know, it's so magical. I'm so glad that you experienced that. It's funny because I was at an oracle card making workshop earlier this week.
Yeah.
And the woman that was holding the workshop had mentioned that the Blue Mountains is the divine feminine, which I'd never heard before.
Wow.
And it's funny because I really associate myself with the divine feminine. You're very much the divine masculine. It's crazy.
It's amazing. But you know, we were also just chatting, and I don't know how much this applies to everybody that's listening, but we kind of digressed a little bit and was thinking about, like, you know, I was saying from 0 to 7 is when everything that we hear, everything that we see, everything that's going on, we absorb in some way, which then we kind of carry out to become a story in some part of our journey. And I was wondering, and I thought about this for myself, like, I thought about the things that I used to do, not even from 0 to 7, but maybe from 7 till I was 14 or something like that. That to me felt like everything that I was doing, everything that I'd write down, everything that I remember writing who I wanted to be and putting it on my wall, my door at home, and just, you know, all of these crazy things. And the movies that I watched, how I kind of played out different roles in those movies in different parts of my life. And it's kind of like not scripting, but there's something in what we're attracted to that becomes our reality.
I mean, we have had this chat offline. Part of this spiritual awakening process is going back to that time, because I feel like you're right. You are manifesting basically at that age, and that is your authentic self, if you think about it, because we're not overthinking, we're just being right, and we're just being ourselves. And it's like everything from this point has taken me back to that stage, to when I was probably 3 to my early teens, let's say. Where I love the bush and the music that I listened to, you know, it was all about 90s pop for me, and those 90s pop bands are all coming back, and it's like, and I'm still doing the dances now because I'm like, this is phenomenal, because they're so happy and vibrant, and they just make me happy, you know. And I really do think that as a kid, you do manifest your being to life.
100%, because we haven't put everything in place. Like, we're just doing it from this pure heart, if that makes sense. We're just feeling things because we're not afraid to say it. We're not afraid to do it. We're not afraid to be it, because we're just being innocent.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think as we get older, we've got to get back into that childlike innocence and
Yeah.
create from that childlike space where we don't have this pressure. We're just thinking about things that make us happy.
Yeah.
And we're watching those things that make us happy, and we want to do more of it, and seeing it becomes, because everything we see and everything we do, it has an imprint on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, we need to spend more time doing the things that we love, and we need to start thinking more about what we want to create to move forward. You know, with my clients, I don't know how many conversations that I have with people, and I'm like, well, what do you want moving forward? And most of the people would say, I don't know. And I always say, if you're not clear about what you want, how's the universe going to give it to you?
Yeah.
And what I say is, write things down, put in writing the things that you want to create, how you want to feel about it, and then surrender to it. Because it's those expectations that get us in trouble from time to time. That's where we get stuck.
Also, Reaya, like, do you agree that if you are going to write those intentions down, if we really are talking about going back to like the childlike mind,
Yeah.
why don't you do something fun before you do that? Because usually when you're doing that fun thing, whatever it is that you want will come up within that time. Like, you know, go and dance, like, you know, go and dance to whatever music it was that you loved to dance to as a kid, you know, and just have a laugh. And then, and something is, because you were thinking about it before, something is bound to come up, but don't overthink it.
Yeah. I think that's a really beautiful message about not overthinking our goals, not overthinking our dreams, but it's more about trusting that alignment and trusting the plan of things. And we've just got to stop trying to harass the plan, so to speak, and just be more in flow with it by being in alignment with ourselves and not overthinking everything and not overthinking every step that we take. And I know as we get older, I know for myself that you start to think more, you start processing more, you know, like before things would have just rolled off me. And now I have this thing of like, am I holding on to this? Why am I holding on to it? I need to question more things. Yeah. Maybe because I know more.
Oh, 100%.
And I need to, I don't know, stop worrying about certain things. We have more responsibility as we get older, but at the same time, we can also have more fun.
That's it. But
we stop having fun and we get so serious that we get so bogged down, and we're like, why are we reoccurring these patterns? Why do I not have any time? You know, something that I was talking about this week with clients was everyone felt like they were in Groundhog Day, meaning they just get up, they take care of their families, they go to work, they come home, they rest, they do it all again. And it's like, we're stopped to have fun. And I know sometimes, like, that's the same thing for me. Sometimes I'm like, I can't go out. I don't want to because I need to reload for tomorrow. But that's a choice, you know. But there's times that I'm like, I'll say yes to everything, and then I'll be like, I'll just deal with it later. You know, can you go? Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, there is like, your body does tell you. Your body does tell you
when you're getting a bit run down.
That's it.
Yeah. I got an awakening last week about my body. It was run down. I was like, okay, Reaya, you need to restock here.
You need to rest. You need to rest, Reaya.
Reaya, you just need to rest.
It's funny. It's funny though, like it's funny because I see it on people's faces now. I see when they are in that, and you call it the bliss, Reaya. I can see when they're in, and I'm hoping that the listeners that are attracted to this program know the difference between the 5D and 3D. I'm sure that they do, but you see the bliss on someone's face. Like, I was in that Oracle card workshop earlier this week, and there was a woman who I had a chat with, and I could see that she had just been awakened. And all these creative juices are starting to come to her, and her face was just enlightened. Yeah. And she was getting up at like 2 a.m. in the morning. She's like, these things are coming to me at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, that is when the veil between the spiritual world and reality, well, not reality, but our world is
They come
at
into
its most
play.
thinnest. Yeah, it's thinnest, you know,
Yeah.
and so that's your subconscious, your spirit guides telling you, or your inner knowing
Yeah.
telling you, or giving you messages about your purpose and your creative path. And
Yeah.
it's
I know,
amazing.
I know lots of writers that wake up between 2 and 4 to write, and they'll write
Yeah.
chapters
Yeah,
of a
wow.
book, and they often call it angel hour. Like
Yeah.
that's the time that the angels come and they come and be with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, whether it's higher self or your spirit guides, but there is that really thin veil.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's where
awesome.
it's that time we dream a lot as well, because we're so connected to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. The magic of life. I love it.
Yes, I know. Life, I always say life gives us exactly what we need at exactly the right time. And it's something that
100%.
I really, really believe in. You know, I feel like you never miss out on anything.
No,
We
if
always
it's,
get what we need.
that's it. Yeah. If it's definitely for you, it's going to come at you, right?
Yeah, it's going to, yeah, definitely for you. I'm bringing it to you. It's going to come at you. But I was going to just mention to everybody, we would still love to hear from you guys. So, you know, if you've had an aha moment, or if you've had like interactions or connections to spirit guides, or any kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say haunted stories almost.
Oh,
I don't know about haunted so much, but I feel like, yeah, spiritual connection. If you've had an awakening of some kind, that, you know, there's tools that you've used or something that you've did that was really transformative for you, we would love to hear, you know, how that happened. Or if you've been in a really hard spot and all of a sudden you've come into this new alignment with yourself, let us know how that happened for you. Because I think our whole purpose of doing this podcast is to share experiences and to share knowledge.
yeah.
Because what's happening with one person is generally happening with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
You know, at the same time. So if something's happening to you, it's generally going to be happening somewhere else. So it's about us kind of sharing wisdom and sharing love within our like little spiritual stuff community.
Yay. All right.
So
Are we gonna...
we'll let you know next time what we're going to talk about when we're here, because obviously we don't know.
We don't know, people. We don't know. We're just going with the flow.
We're going with the flow.
We're going with the flow.
Yeah.
Maybe Reaya will share her tools and tips next week. Will she?
Yeah.
Won't she? Who knows?
Exactly. I'm going to keep you all guessing until then.
Was there anything else, just before we wrap up, Reaya, that you wanted to touch on about your teenage years, or no? She's all good. She's all done.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. Chat to you guys in a week
See
or
you
so.
next time.
Bye.